This episode is brought to you by Pioneer Pastures, bringing milk back to its original nourishing form. A2 protein only, no seed oils, no shortcuts, packing protein, calcium, and vitamins with fewer digestive concerns. Pick one up today at your local Target. We're at Bobcat Stadium ahead of the second round playoff game for the FCS. This is Montana State and Yale playing for the first time ever. December 6th at noon. I'm sitting with a MSU guy, a Yale guy, Tommy Mellott, Butte native, former quarterback here at MSU. He guided the Cats to the national championship game last season, and he is the first Bobcat ever to win the Walter Payton Award. And Jeff Mroz, who lives in Bozeman now, but he's a former quarterback for Yale, class of 06, former team captain, and he threw for over 1,700 yards in just 10 games in the 2005 season. Now he's the co-founder of this milk company. We're going to talk about it. But guys, thank you so much for joining me here at Midfield.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Game week, a little energy here.
When this was a possibility, it was fun to see it actually happen. Yale making the playoffs and then playing where I live, this is sweet.
Yeah. Now you're seeing the snow get removed.
Yeah.
We'll start with this. Tommy Touchdown, you're a graduate of MSU now. When do you graduate to Tom Touchdown?
I don't know. I'm not going to claim that nickname ever, so I'll never try to graduate to anything. I didn't ever feel like I had that one to begin with, but yeah.
You never embraced the nickname.
I never embraced it. No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. So, but there's plenty of guys. I know that it's actually I get comments all the time. There's players throughout the entire country, and everybody named Tommy, whatever they running back or quarterback, they always have that nickname. And there's always some Bobcat fan that finds them and sees that that's what the comment is or the caption, and they tag me and they say, no, this is the real, and they want me to start, I don't know, arguing or whatever, but I'll never claim it. So
okay, not part of your branding.
No.
You did get drafted in the NFL by the Raiders. Where are you in your NFL journey now?
Yeah, so I was drafted down to Vegas this offseason, was there all the way through training camp. Afterwards, I got cut and got picked up with the Saints, and I was there for about a third of the season. And since I've just kind of gotten back and been taking care of things, seeing kind of what the next step might be.
Okay. We're all eager to know, so keep us posted. Jeff, both of your brothers played quarterback at Princeton. You played quarterback at Yale. How did none of the three of you invent Facebook?
We grew up in Pittsburgh where it was like football was like king, and quarterback in particular. There's 6 Hall of Fame quarterbacks from Pittsburgh. George Blanda, Johnny Unitas, Joe Namath, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, all from
Something
kind of like
in the water.
one area. You just like grow up wanting to be a quarterback. So I guess we all focused on that versus trying to be tech nerds.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? I know you're involved with milk. Tell me about this.
Yeah, I started a brand new milk company earlier this year, launched it nationwide into Targets on Amazon. And basically the idea is to try to create a mass health brand, doing it through kind of the most nutritious products available, which is milk. It's like the first thing we have when we come into this world. And then milk's been genetically mutated, and we're trying to go back and restore it to its original form, which is an A2 type of protein. And we've done it through protein shakes, and we've done it through half gallons of milk, and we're just trying to get it to be kind of widely distributed into as many hands as we can.
Okay. Well, I want to taste the milk. I want to try it. I brought these so that you guys feel more at ease drinking the milk if you so choose. It's up to you. While I deal with the business of pouring the milk, tell me, we're out here. I've got these. What do you miss about college football, about playing it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get started just being when you're removed now. But I think over anything, the coolest thing and being a part of a program at Montana State was the other guys that you're kind of surrounded with. I don't know. I think that there's something pretty special where guys are sacrificing for one another for a common good, and the shared suffering and that's involved with going 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it might be. So that's something that I'll always treasure with my past here for sure.
Yeah. But that, I mean, you kind of have that in the NFL, but is it a little bit more business oriented?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
when you go to college, right, you're 16, 17 years old, and kids are trying to figure out who they are, and you come here with a bunch of other guys the same age that you're all kind of trying to figure out life together, and you build some really good bonds, and we were lucky enough to have, and I was lucky enough to have some really good friends that I was with for 4, 5, 6 years, and then you also had some of the older guys that have been through it, and they mentor you and all those things, and yeah, it's just quite a bit different when you're going to be here and you have guys that are all investing into one another versus where it really is kind of everyone's trying to it's your job and people are coming in to take your job, so it's much different with the relationships in that way. So
yeah. And still so fresh for you, Jeff. It's been a minute since you've been out there, but what do you find yourself sort of thinking about?
Tommy summed it up great. The only thing I would add to it is it's the ultimate team game. I mean, it's a meritocracy. You have guys from all kinds of different backgrounds coming together, and nothing matters other than like winning and working together, which is pretty cool. And then the other thing I would say, unlike other sports, when you're done with football, it's not like you can just go get a pickup game of football like you can for other sports. So like it's done, and that sucks.
Yeah. There's not a bunch of guys playing football down the street.
Yeah, the Turkey
you can
Bowls
just hop in there.
last week, I guess, but yeah, those are few and far between too,
Yeah.
and
That's it.
not as glorious as playing in front of 20,000 fans either.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
second round of the playoffs, Montana State earned a bye. Yale had this monster comeback to get this far to the second round. Tell me the mindset for each of the teams that you represent right now.
I would say for Montana State, like this is the expectation. Players like Tommy come here knowing like we're going to the playoffs and we want to play for a championship. For Yale, this is brand new. Like they've never done this before. It's the first year they've been able to play in it. And it's kind of a measuring stick. Like how do we kind of measure up against the heavyweights of the world? So I think very different mindsets in the sense that Montana State's used to it. They got a home game in a cold stadium. It's going to be packed and loud, and Yale has to come into this environment and something completely new and see how they do.
Yeah, will this be different for those players?
For sure.
Yeah. And does MSU just have a giant axe to grind now, and it's all about sort of retribution for last season?
I mean, I'm not part of the program anymore, but obviously following it and knowing a lot of the guys still on the team, I think it's been pretty much year after year we've kind of emphasized the same thing, and that it is a whole new team and a whole new goal every single year. It's a reset from ground zero, and anything other than that, it's a disservice to the people that came before you and the other teams throughout the entire country, because everyone's developing, everyone's getting better, and so I think that the team had reset. They have a lot of new pieces. They're pretty young for sure, but they have a lot of guys that also have experience, and so I do think that every single year it's a great opportunity to, and it is an expectation at Montana State now to be in the playoffs and to be winning, and it's been great to see Coach Vegan and the entire team, no matter kind of who comes through here at what position it might be, they're able to be successful. It's a mark of a great program for sure. So it'll be a great game on Saturday. So
was it helpful for you in your playing days in college football to have some sort of a motivating factor, like a little bit of hate in you when you were getting ready to take the field? How do you do that against Yale, a team you've never played before?
I don't know if that was ever anything that filled me up. I was never a player that kind of played with hate. It was more clarity of mind and more or less more of an emphasis for playing for the guys that are around you and kind of a nameless, faceless opponent, no matter who it is. The entire season, the expectation is to win every single game, because it's anything below that at a in the FCS, and you're not going to make the playoffs really. You have to be a conference champion to get that first round bye, and that's not easy to do by any stretch. It's a lot of pressure, week in and week out on the players. So I think that if you're playing, through hate, it's just, I don't think that that's what will get anyone up specifically for Yale or any other game necessarily. So
you just came out and played your game, no matter who the opponent was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a process, and if you get too high or too low at any point, that's just kind of how you set yourself up for failure. So that's how I always was, and I know a lot of other guys have a similar mindset as well.
Yeah, and I mean Yale's got to be careful not to come out with too much emotion either, right? I mean they're coming up to altitude, and this is a new experience. How do you moderate?
Yeah, I think last week's a good example of that. They got down early against Youngstown State, brand new, 3 turnovers, and kind of calmed themselves and kind of put themselves in a position to come back and mount that monumental comeback in the second half.
Do they have another one in them in case they get down big here? Can MSU ever really relax against a team that just had such a massive comeback?
Well, they have firepower for sure. I mean, they have a lot of athletes. They can win through the air. They can win on the ground. They have an explosive running back who's the team captain. The team really kind of takes his lead for sure. And I don't think at this stage you can relax on it. It's the playoffs. It's the best teams that are left. You relax, you're done.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Youngstown was as you look at it, they had the Offensive Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley, and that's one of the best conferences, if not the best conference in the country. And as a junior, what he was able to do on the ground and passing and just the entire team as a whole, I thought that, Youngstown being that low for a seeded team, they're one of the best teams in the Missouri Valley. And for Yale to go down, to have a slow start and then be able to, roll basically the entire second half and completely take over the game. And again, it was, players making plays too. That was one thing that really stood out. Was it wasn't even necessarily just guys running free here and there, but it was, the quarterback who, is a transfer from South Carolina. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a stud, and he was throwing through tight windows, and guys were, getting open in man coverage. There's not a whole lot that coaches can really do, and there wasn't a whole lot of, motioning, shifting, all these things either. It was just guys were outplaying guys, and that's, however you want to look at it. But I thought, Youngstown was a really good team. So
yeah. So this Yale team is plucky. How is this team different than the Yale teams of your day?
Oh, these guys are so much more talented. I mean, I watch these games, and the level of recruits they're getting in there is so much different than when I played. Coach Reno was an assistant when I played at Yale, and then he left to become a head coach. I left for a few years and came back to be the head coach. And in the last dozen or so years, he's getting some legit players in there. And he's just completely changed the program. There's 5 guys on active NFL rosters right now from Yale, and guys that are the leading tackler in the NFL is a Yale guy. Those types of players that are having an impact at every level. And I just look around, and one of the bigger differences for sure between a Yale and a Montana State is there's going to be way more depth at Montana State than Yale.
Sure.
But the top end guys that Yale has are super talented, and they're kind of moving on to the next level as well. So he's done a great job bringing in some really, really good players on kind of the line, the skill guys.
Okay.
Way better than when I played.
And, part of the secret to having such depth is having a great coach. Talk a little bit about, playing for Coach Vegan and what you expect him to get out of these kids Saturday.
Yeah. I think that one thing that's always really stuck out is just how morally right everything that he does with this program and how we do, they do things the right way. I think that there's a lot of things that go on within college programs and things behind the scenes that, people really don't see. But, being a part of a program and being coached by Coach Vegan for, the 4.5 years that I was here, it was just very special to see how, with the success that we were having on the field, everything that was kind of backing it and building these individuals was, doing it the right way as well. So I think that, I don't also really think that it's Coach Vegan getting stuff out of the kids. They have a lot of guys that really care about one another, and I think also at this point in the year, it's really the teams that want to be with one another week after week after week as we get closer, through Thanksgiving and into Christmas and all those things that, human nature is to, you're done with school, you want to move on with this and that, and, some guys get complacent, and I think it's also why you're going to see the passion from both teams is the teams want to be with one another still at this point.
Yeah.
It means something to them. They're best friends, like I said. They've been with each other for 4.5 years, so it's one thing that's always, the reason why these playoff games are so exciting. It's a senior class. They're going to be gone at some point. It's win or go home at this point.
He's doing something right. He's got large programs coming to call and trying to maybe poach him, so MSU's lucky to hold on to him for a little bit.
Absolutely.
You're in your NFL journey now. You were in the NFL for a while. Did the tour with quite a few organizations. What advice would you give Tommy right now for where he is?
He's the best player in Bobcat history. I mean, he carried his team to a national championship, got the Player of the Year. Watching him play, I mean, anytime the team needed a big play, like he showed up and did it. His athleticism, the leadership. I mean, the dude knows how to play football. I don't think he needs advice from me. I think the one thing I would say is I don't think people understand how hard it is to do what he's trying to do right now, is transition from a quarterback to a receiver in the NFL. It's the hardest thing to do. You can count on one hand over the last 30 years the people that have successfully done that in the NFL, and he's trying to do it. So the amount of respect you have to have for that's incredible. And the quicker he can process the game from the receiver position, the better off he's going to be. I mean, and how do you do that? You got to get reps. So the advice is get as many reps as you can, get out there. Clearly he has the athleticism. And if he can process the game from a different position as quickly as he possibly can, then his football instincts and his incredible athleticism will take over and he'll be just fine.
Has it been a challenge?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why I'm here right now and not with an organization. So, no, it's been a humbling experience, but it's been something to, obviously hang my hat on to pursue. It's something that, I dreamed of growing up. I've talked about it ad nauseum, to be honest with you, but it is, funny because it's something that the same thing that I'm going through is something that I really was pulled to when I was young, and I know that we talked about this yesterday, but like Julian Edelman was someone that I looked up to a ton, and I thought, wow, it's like incredible. Like these guys are the best players in the world, and he came from, Kent State, switching from quarterback to wide receiver, and he made that transition, and he became one of the most reliable and successful targets for one of the best dynasties in, history of the NFL. So I think that definitely pulled, me to try to do the same thing with what my opportunities were going to be as I, got out of college. So, continuing to figure out how that stuff will look going forward and, pursuing it the best of my ability. And, I just, for sure, there's a lot to figure out for sure.
What's the hardest part?
I mean, I think it's, I think understanding the game and it is something that was clearly, like I knew the X's and O's extremely well. It was just a lot of things that you don't really think about. And from those experiences that people have had their entire lives, growing up, tracking a ball, doing all these things, and you just have to, you have to get a lot of reps at, I suppose. So those are things that I continue to improve at, but there's a million things that I get to work on again, which is a great opportunity. So
yeah, you took over for a quarterback who broke his leg. You've both witnessed gruesome injuries. Is that something that's always like in the back of your mind when you're out there playing, the other injuries that you've seen?
I never was through college.
You just block it out. You forget about that.
You can't play scared.
Yeah, I mean, if you are thinking that way, you're likely not going to be on the field because you probably are going to be hurt already. Unfortunately, this
is why I was not on the field. Clearly.
I don't know how to exactly describe it, but there's different physicalities at different levels and stuff like that, and you typically are at where you need to be, and coaches recruit a certain way for certain reasons, and the guys, they make it or they don't. I suppose, like the guys that don't necessarily they're not physical or they're not, used to those things. They don't stay on the team for very long and through college, and they kind of get weeded out. So by the time you actually find the field, like that's kind of already been figured out. So
okay. And you're week 13, 14 right now? Everyone's banged up at some degree.
Yeah, everybody hurts right now. Like,
I broke my. Okay, great. I've got a messed up shoulder. Like it's everybody. Yeah.
No, I always say that the first game of the year was the toughest, no matter who you played, because everybody was rolling, hitting. Yeah. But by week 10, 11, 12, like, you're able to kind of, like, jog out of bounds, and these guys aren't teeing off on you, or, like, they're just trying to get you on the field. Like, not trying to make hammer you down by any stretch. So
yeah.
I always thought that was the first couple of games were the most physical for sure.
It seems cruel that as everybody gets banged up, it gets colder and colder.
Yeah.
This Saturday we're looking at probably snow, maybe freezing rain. It could be nasty. How could that affect this game? And then what's the worst weather you played through in your days?
Worst weather for me, my sophomore year, we played up at Harvard, up in Boston. End of November, it was cold, some snow was flying, but it was the wind that really messed things up for us. It was probably 40, 50 mile an hour, like sustained winds, not gusts. Like you'd have to hold the ball on the tee. Between plays, the ref couldn't put the ball down. He had to wait there until the center came up. And Harvard had the best passing attack in the league. They had an all-league quarterback, a senior. They had the player of the year was a receiver. And midway through the first quarter, they pulled their quarterback and brought in a sophomore who could run. And they just ran wild with him. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, nice.
So they beat us by a touchdown. But, yeah, wind was always tough for quarterbacks. They had a little bit of the rain, sure, snow, fine, but the wind can really kind of mess things up for a QB.
Okay. Does it play to MSU's advantage if there's a little weather out here? Got some snow?
I mean, I think that it's clear that they are here. Like, this is where they've been able to practice at. But, I mean, the cold's a cold, to be honest with you. And like we talked about, there's guys from all over the country that are coming here. I suppose they're more used to it because they've – but, talking to guys, it's like – I don't think it was ever that comfortable being out in the cold. It doesn't really matter who you are or where you've been, and it's not like it's not cold over the East Coast either. So, but it'll be, I mean, whatever the circumstances are. I was always excited for when it kind of got cooler in the season, because like those games early in the fall when it's 100 degrees, like I'd way rather it be 30 degrees and blue skies and a little bit of wind like today than 100 degrees down in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a quarter, I don't know how much you went under center, but those 100 degree games in kind of August, and your hands up under the center, it's all sweaty, and you don't get that as much when it's cold.
That's true. You think the altitude's a bigger deal than the weather?
I would think
cold?
so.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'd for sure imagine. I don't know how that stuff works scientifically. I know that the NFL, they talk about it here and there with like trying to get there right before the game and how that shouldn't affect you. But I don't know. I think it'll be more of a whatever, I think more psychological than anything. If you think it's going to affect you, it's going to affect you. And if you don't, it's not. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Have to wait and find out, I guess. What are the Yale players going to be hearing from the MSU players on the field? Think there's going to be a little bit of trash being talked? And then vice versa. Who's
I mean,
yapping?
guys. I mean, that just kind of depends on the individual, I suppose. I think some guys will get into it from both sides, but I also think again it's guys are just taking care of business because they want to win for the guys around them. They'll celebrate with one another before they start talking down on someone else. But
okay.
I mean, I was also a quarterback, so it's like you kind of removed from all those things. So. I wasn't out there with the defense to hear what they were saying or what the wide receivers were saying after they caught passes or whatever, so.
Might get a little
Did you
chippy,
feel that way
who knows?
too?
Yeah, you don't have time for it.
Yeah, everyone was like, why don't you, talk or say stuff after you get up? And it's like, my job is to go see what the clock is, go find the signal, go get in the huddle, go run the next play. Like, I can't, unless we're scoring, like, even at that point, it's like, what are you supposed to say?
Yeah. You got too much to think about, to worry about.
I'd rather go celebrate with your teammates than go talk to the other team,
Yeah.
So I always felt like I was never part of any sort of trash talk.
Even if there were defensive linemen and linebackers and cornerbacks after they sacked you who were talking trash to you, you wouldn't talk back?
Maybe you call a play right over their head on the next one. I don't know. Get them that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and also, fortunately for us, like we won a lot of games by a lot. So at some point it was like I don't know what you're even saying, dude. Like, unfortunately, you guys are going home, and like we're going to keep going on. So
winning is the ultimate
right
trash
now, but yeah, winning is can't really control. I mean, say whatever then, but
yeah.
Fair enough. Here's my trash talk. When Yale travels this far for a game, do the players' au pairs fly in a separate jet? What is Are they bringing their nannies with them?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great.
All right. So I have a little game. That's all the questions I have. I'm going to crack open another one of these. These are delicious.
Yeah.
These Pioneer Pastures. So this game is called, this is our horseplay. Preheating the takes.
Horseplay,
right?
preheating
Horseplay. Yeah, it was Outlaw Beat, so we do a little horseplay game. And this, we're going to record this. We've recorded this before the game, so I want the two of you to succinctly react to some of the most likely outcomes, okay? Giving us options to use when the final whistle blows. Got it? So you got to put your mindset in the post game. So the game has just happened. All right. Game is over. MSU versus Yale. Carhartt versus Kashmir. And here to give their instant reactions are former stars of the two teams, touchdown Tom Mellott and Jeff Mroz. So the first scenario, a decisive victory by the Bobcats. Yale could not contain the Dowler brothers on either side of the ball. What are your thoughts, Tommy?
Interesting. I guess I already graduated to Tom Mellott, huh? I already
too
heard
late.
that.
We're
so
here.
I guess we're already there, huh? I didn't have to wait for anyone else to decide that. I'm not part of the team anymore, and they took care of business today.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Go Cats. Well, let's get your thoughts, Jeff.
Tough loss. Beautiful place to play a game, though.
Good enough. All right, next scenario, an edge-of-your-seat thriller featuring a last-second comeback by a win by the Yale Bulldogs with Dante Reno's late-game heroics breaking the Cats' hearts at home. Go to you, Jeff. What do you say? Drink Pioneer Pasture.
I need some brain fuel. I think I saw before that last second touchdown pass, Dante Reno going to the sideline to drink a Pioneer Pastures.
Look at that. Now we have the explanation
Yeah,
for what was behind.
That's what happened.
His historic.
No, a coach's son comes through.
Tommy, I know you're beside yourself with grief right now. Are there words that could describe the way that you feel?
You know, Yale's been playing with house money. They came back with Harvard. They came back with Youngstown, and it was unfortunate they got MSU today.
A bitter loss. All right, next scenario. After a record 26 overtimes, both teams agreed to call it a night and settle it with a skills competition tomorrow. Former players are eligible, I just heard. Yeah. How are you feeling right now about the 26 overtimes?
My last game was a 3 overtime loss, so multiple overtimes doesn't feel so good.
PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's my redemption tour.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
once
you
they got to
feeling,
those
Tommy?
2-point contests at the end, the coaches were going back to week 1 apparently with their play calls. There's no way that they had that on the play sheet. 26 overtimes. I mean, it must have got done at 8 p.m. The game started at noon. So
Yeah. It was a long one.
They needed the former players to go out there. They weren't going to be able to make it another game.
We're
another
exhausted.
day. Yeah.
If it comes down to the two of you in a skills competition, who's going to win?
Well, it's a skills competition.
I don't like our chances against touchdown Tommy here in his home stadium.
Okay. The ball just jumps out of his hand here. I've
mean,
seen it
You
happen.
got the altitude up here, huh?
He's done it. He's fresh still. He's still training.
All right, last scenario. Yale wins big, only to remove their masks and reveal that they were actually North Dakota State University all along. This is our Scooby-Doo ending. How are you feeling about Montana State losing to NDSU again, Tommy?
Man.
Cutting deep.
Yeah, that cuts deep for sure. I mean, we lost to them 3 of the 4 years, so, you know, they're a damn good team, but I like to believe in the guys, so I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, no, that's a
That's
tough one
cut deep.
to respond to.
Yeah.
I wrote that just in case it happens. It would be really weird, I would assume.
Pretty weird. I don't think Yale would go to those levels.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
If anybody could pull it off, it's the smart kids at Yale, I
They
guess.
could probably figure it out.
Yeah. Do you carry a little grudge forever now against the Bison?
I mean, I think it'll always hit home to some extent. I mean, I think that losing 2 national championship games and losing the only game in the playoffs, I think we lost 1 game at home, and that was to North Dakota State here throughout my 4.5 years. So I don't think that it's gonna I'm gonna be stressed about it the rest of my life. But yeah, it's for sure frustrating. You always want to win every single game. You want to end on every single season on a win. So yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know you guys are both here because you hope that your team takes care of business on the field Saturday. I appreciate your time sitting with me out here. It's a little bit cold. We
It's gonna be even colder on Saturday.
gutted it out, though.
Yeah.
We got some nice sun out here right now. The blue skies. It looks beautiful. It is a little bit chilly though.
Yeah. Well, good luck to both of your squads. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lean in either direction. I hope you both win. You can.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I know. I'm excited to be a fan for a playoff game. That'd be great. So
Yeah.
I do hope for 26 OTs, and your clip is going to go viral.
yeah, no
Free
kidding.
football, right? Just forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's break some records.
I think the team that won, I mean, wherever they go next is another 26 overtimes. Like they already played another game.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you even do? You can't take any more time off. It's got to keep going.